Hello and welcome back to my channel. It's Saturday again and it's Slimming World. Right, I woke up this morning and I just did not want to get out of bed. No excuse me, no energy, no enthusiasm, absolutely exhausted because I've had such a busy week. So it took a double Nicaraguan espresso to even get me functioning this morning, and I feel like I need matchsticks to keep my eyes open. But it's because of the kind of week I've had. I am a very sociable person. I like to get out and about with my friends. So on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday this week I was out with different friends. And I think I'm getting too old to trip the light fantastic. My week culminated last night in a dinner party at a friend's house, which was really, really nice. And it taught me a really valuable lesson, because usually if I was invited to something like that the night before weigh-in, I would make an excuse and get out of it because I would be worried too much about gaining weight. But this week I thought to myself, no, you've got to live your life. And living your life for me means being sociable and accepting social invitations. Yeah, it's been a really lovely week. As I say, I've spent a lot of precious time with friends and I've lived my life to the full. I did decide last week, after 2 weeks of gaining, which were fine because I need to be within my Slimming World brackets, weight brackets. So I did decide after a couple of weeks of a £0.5 gain and then a £1.5 gain to actually drop back to having 2 A choices, which is the plan as it's written today. I know there's a lot of thought from social media that the plan says 2 A choices as an option. I choose the 2 because, well, why wouldn't I? If I can have 2 A choices, why would I live in a state of deprivation and only have 1? It's what works for me. And this video, this channel, is about my journey. So I did that. I stuck to the 2 A choices, the 1 B choice, the 5 to 15 sins. I can't say that I've been within 15 sins every day. I have done my best. I had flexi-sinned yesterday because when you go to a dinner party you can't say no to all the food you're offered and sit there looking like somebody who's living on a diet. When you're socialising with people that you don't really know, you don't want the focus to be all about you saying no. But likewise, if that's the right expression, you don't want to be outside of how you choose to eat, tripping the light fantastic and just blowing it, because that doesn't work for me today. So really, really good week. And in a lot of ways, although I felt in control all week, I have been put in the head ahead of the body. I've been a little bit anxious all week, thinking this is going to result in a gain, and how do you feel about that? You know, it's assuming. I assume so much and make an ass of you and me. That's an expression Joe uses a lot. Mum, stop assuming, you're making an ass of you and me. So, going to group this morning, I wouldn't say I was nervous, because I am in a place of knowing I'm within target. I had £4.5 to play with, so again wasn't going to put me out of target. But actually stepping up to the scales, I was saying to myself, just do it. Just get on the scales and take whatever they give you. And I'm juggling with figures in my head. I love numbers, absolutely love numbers. And I'm juggling with those numbers in my head thinking, well, if I gain £2, that only puts me at like 9.5 stone a pound. I can go up to 9 stone 3. The worst thing that can happen is I've gained £4.5 and I'm at the top of my target. All of this is whirling in my head. And you're seeing me today exactly as I weigh in. This is me in my weigh-in gear. So went in, got there nice and early because we couldn't stay. We had to get away from group. Got on the scales and lost £0.5. And I won't say I felt relieved. I actually felt this is what living this plan is about. This is what living this plan and living your life is about. You know, it's not all about oh, well, I know I'm going to have a gain this week because I've got such a heavy social week that I might as well totally blow it. It's about management. And when I ask my Amazon Echo, what is Slimming World? It tells me it's a weight, it mentions the word slimming, weight loss, but it also says it's a weight management company. And I think that's the beauty of being at Target. It's learning to manage your weight, learning to find the balance in your food and not live in deprivation. And definitely, definitely don't be on a diet. I'd like to take that word right out of my vocabulary. I lived for 59 years as a failed dieter. So I think when I use the word diet, for me, it comes with the word failure. So, like I'd say to anybody today, follow what it says in the book, do what it says in the book. And if I do that, I don't believe I'll fail. I believe I'll succeed, and I believe I'll feel good about myself. And today I weigh 8 stone 12, which is 2 pounds under my actual target, 124 pounds because I like it in pounds. That doesn't feel like failure. That feels like success for somebody who used to weigh 308 pounds. So 124 to 308, from 108, no, from 308 to 124, is that about 182 pound weight loss? 13 stone 2 pounds. How on earth could I be disappointed in that? So it's been a good week. Right, I've given Joe a little list of topics I wanted to speak on because I am so tired that my head just got to retain stuff today. Probably fumble my way through this video today and you'll think, what on earth is wrong with her? But what was number 2 on my list, Joe?
Where does Slimming World come in your life?
Yeah, that is a question I ask myself. Where does Slimming World come in your life? And I'm not ashamed to stand here today and say, Slimming World comes first in my life. My family is really precious to me and really important to me, but my family is made up of individual people who are responsible for themselves. And I am a bit of a control freak and I want the best for everybody, but the best that I want for people might not be what they want for themselves. I am a very supportive and loyal friend. I am a very supportive and loyal family member. I would do anything for my family and I would do anything to help anybody. I'm that kind of person. That's the way I was raised. But when it comes to my weight and it comes to being comfortable in my body and it comes to living my life today as a healthy person, Slimming World has to come first. And I can't put it on the back burner and I don't want to blow it and I don't want to cheat and I don't want to treat myself anymore. And I am in a place where I feel that I can give my best to everything else because my head and my body are in a good place. So I'm never ever going back to the kind of Slimming World I used to be. I did Slimming World over 40 years, so many times that I've lost count. But my biggest practice was always to get through the week on a diet, because I never treated it like a lifestyle, I always treated it like a diet. So to get through the week on that diet, knowing that after I weighed in, and I usually went to a Thursday night class, because Thursdays was always the night that worked for me, my reward for being on a diet all week was to come out of group, whatever the result, good, bad or indifferent, so that's gain, lose or maintain, I'd come out of group and my head would be full of what can I eat? What can I have? What can I treat myself with? What's my reward? And the vast majority of my old Clifton group used to queue up at the chippy straight after group. The consultant would be in the queue with us. And I never ever went for a small fish and chips or anything like that. I always went for the biggest thing on the menu. So my love was pie, chips and 2 battered sausages. And all the work I'd done in the previous week would be undone with that one meal. And I always started my new week on the back foot, 3 paces behind where I needed to be. So I was always playing catch up. And those are the old things about Slimming World that I had to lay down. There is no point to any of that for me today. There is no point in rewarding myself or consoling myself. All I need to do is just stick to what it says in the book and keep moving forward. Because so many times I stood in that chip shop queue on a Thursday night and then woke up on a Friday morning feeling absolutely crap about myself. And then spent the next week thinking, how can I undo what I did on Thursday night? There's no joy in that. That's not making good memories. Not for me. It might work for other people. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. Let me be politically correct and say, I'm not judging anybody else. I'm not saying you should do this. I'm just telling you what works for me. So, Slimming World comes first in my life. It comes ahead of everything else. Because if I haven't got this plan, I haven't got this lifestyle, I haven't got this freedom, I haven't got a life. And I don't ever want to go back to just existing in the way I used to. So for me today, it's being on plan to the best of my ability that keeps me having this quality of life and the freedom it gives me. Right, the next point I think is number 13.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, this is about being at target, right? So we all start the journey with weight to lose. And we all have a different journey and we all have a different amount of weight that we want to lose. But when you get to target, and hopefully this will happen for everybody who really wants it, when you get to target, the emphasis has to change because you're no longer totally focused on losing weight. You've no longer got that motivation to get that loss on the scales every week. So how do you deal with that? Well, I've always dealt with it by saying, I know I can't go back to being the Jane I used to be, or I'll go back to being the heavy person I used to be. But I've still had the focus on loss. And I think I'm moving into a different phase of my journey. Very gradually, this has been coming for quite a while, but it's very gradual. And I'm accepting that I need to live between 8 stone 11 and 9 stone 3. And I was having a text conversation with somebody the other day, and we all talk about this £6, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, this £6 place. We're trying to balance it within those £6. And I actually thought about it, and I thought, you know what? 8 stone 11 to 9 stone 3 is actually 7 numbers. 8 stone 11, 12, 13, 9 stone 1, 9 stone 2, 9 stone 3. That for me today is a £7 boundary. 7's my lucky number, I like that. But then I look at the numbers in between and I've got the half pounds. So I've got 8 stone 11 and a half, 8 stone 12 and a half, 8 stone 13 and a half, 9 stone and a half a pound, 9 stone 1 and a half, 9 stone 2 and a half. That gives me 13 numbers. And if I can't live my life in a way that hits one of those 13 numbers each Saturday, then I'm being sloppy, then I'm being greedy, then I'm being careless. And this is me I'm talking about, not you. I'm talking about me. 13 numbers. And my life, I would love to be a numerologist or something. I am totally obsessed with numbers. I love it. I find a real interest in numbers and how many aspects of my life are affected by numbers. And when I stop and I think, 13 numbers. Blooming heck, if I can't hit one of those numbers, I'm doing something wrong. So that has opened like up a new book to me this week. And it's shown me that those 13 numbers, that's one hell of a space, isn't it? We're not talking about every week I have to go to group and every week I have to hit £123, which is the bottom of my target. We're talking about 13 options for being successful. And that seems to have just expanded that boundary so much for me this week. Again, it's numbers, it's head stuff, it's what works for me. So going forward, that's what I want to look at. Just the ability of eating well and hitting one of those 13 numbers. Yeah. It just seems to have expanded being a target, the thought of being a target, by so much and given me so much hope and so much to aim for. So I wanted to share that today. I don't know whether it will speak to anybody else because you might not be numbers obsessed like I am. And finally, the and thing. Yeah. Yeah, Joe?
Yeah.
Joe follows a guy on social media who's called Alan Thrall, Thrall, and he is a gym owner in, I think it's California, is it?
Yeah.
He had a baby, well, he didn't have a baby, his wife had a baby, and he woke up when that baby was new, and he thought to himself, I don't want a dad body. By dad body, I mean when you start to expand around the middle, because it's something that happens to us all. As we get older, as we get more mature, the tendency is to gain weight and put it on around the middle. And that's why a lot of healthcare professionals focus today on your waist measurement rather than your actual weight. Because you can be a reasonably healthy weight, but if you're carrying a lot of that weight around your middle, you're putting extra pressure on your heart health. So he didn't want that. So he looked at his food plan, and he eats really well, doesn't he, Joe?
Yeah, he does.
A really good, healthy food plan. But he realised that most of his meals finished with an and. So what did you say you usually ate for breakfast? Porridge?
I think it was like porridge, eggs, fruit, and.
Then he would have, I know what it was what he called a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yeah.
He's American. So he would have his porridge with his eggs and his fruit, which is a good breakfast. But then he would have an and a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And at lunchtime he would have, I think you said, was it chicken and vegetables?
Chicken and vegetables and rice, and then at the gym there'd be like donuts.
Yeah, so he'd have his chicken, his vegetables, his rice, again a very healthy meal, but then he would be at the gym where he owns the gym, he works at the gym, and he would have an and. So he would have and a donut. Now I'm not saying this applies to most of us Slimming Worlders, but there is always going to be an and available if we want it. And all he did to reduce that stomach fat was cut out the ands. And when Joe was telling me about this in the week, I thought, that makes so much sense. Because you're not actually cutting back to deprivation, because you're still having the porridge, the eggs, the fruit. You've just cut out the and. And he did that, and over a period of time, steadily and slowly, he lost that belly fat. And I thought, there's a lesson for you, Jane. You know, I only eat 3 meals a day. I don't find the need to snack because I'm not hungry in between meals. And my meals are generous, and I don't need the ands anymore. But I used to do the ands. When I first started Slimming World, I would have had the breakfast that I have today, which is my all bran for fibre and quark. But then I would have had and 2 hard-boiled eggs and a piece of fruit. Now, I've said it a lot of times on my channel about when you're having a healthy extra B, you don't need speed. There are 2 fine examples which I've quoted before in the book where it shows you Weetabix, milk and banana as a breakfast meal. A lot of people have said in group over many occasions, but where's the speed? Naomi would say you don't need speed, you're having your B choice. And then you would see in the book there's a picture of beans on toast. I'm assuming it's still in the new book. And people have said again in my group, but where's the speed? Well, you do see lots of us adding speed to that meal. And a lot of people would say, well, I had beans on toast, and then I had an apple for speed, or then I had some frozen fruit for speed. They're the ands. And do we need them? You might say, but an apple's only going to be 70 or 80 calories. You know, if you don't need it because the beans on toast is filling, and because the beans on toast is actually bang on plan, why would we add 70 or 80 calories? Because we keep telling ourselves we've got to have speed. We haven't got to. If you're having your B choice, so even if you were having, say for your lunch, you decided to have, I don't know, bacon, tomato, an egg sandwich, you know, like a breakfast type sandwich for your lunch. You don't have to, oh no, bacon, tomato, you put speed in there, don't you? Let me do it without speed. If you're having your bacon and egg sandwich in 2 slices of small loaf wholemeal bread, you don't have to add speed to that. You know, we have seen over the nearly 4 years that I've been at groups some very strange combinations of food where people would have a breakfast and salad on the side. If you're putting salad on the side and for your breakfast you're having porridge and banana, that's not necessarily the way to use speed. The word speed does not mean speed up your weight loss as in I am a magic ingredient. The word speed, to speed up your weight loss, is to emphasise the fact that using those low-calorie fillers fills you up. It doesn't speed up your metabolism. It doesn't do anything magical. It's not the elixir of life. It just fills you up. So if doing things like that and adding pieces of fruit or vegetables where they're not necessarily needed isn't helping your weight loss, isn't being used to fill you up, then it's an and you can cut it out. So yeah, these are my opinions and my ideas. You may not agree with them, and I'm quite comfortable with that. You don't have to agree with me. I don't need anybody's endorsement or agreement. I just know how this is working for me. And I think it's Tuesday this week, the 5th, I will have been at Target for 3 years and 3 months. So I must be doing something right. Otherwise, I would now be on my way back up to where I used to be. And when I first set my target, 11 stone 11, moved it to 10 stone 10, moved it to 9.5 stone, moved it to 9 stone, because the weight kept coming off. I know in my heart that if I'd just got to my first target, or even my second target, and then thought, I'm in a comfortable place, I can relax, I can bring stuff back in that I used to eat, I would not be 8 stone 12 today. I would be more likely 18 stone 12. Because the easiest thing in the world for me is to gain weight. But if I stay focused and I stay committed and I put Slimming World first in my life, and I'm not saying everybody would choose to do that, but I want to, I need to, and it works for me. By doing that, if I can stay at the weight I am today, even though I am absolutely tired out today, I feel incredible. I want to live like this. So that's been my week. I'm going to go forward. I may up my A choices to 3 on some days, not every day. I'll see how it fits within my week. But the one thing I know for sure this week is that I will be intending to be on plan, because it's the only way for me and it makes me happy. So thanks for watching, thanks for anybody who comments, thanks for all the lovely comments last week, and we'll see you next week. Have a good week, and remember, it works if you work it, it won't if you don't. Cheers.